Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. They say just as our bodies need nourishment to survive, our souls need to be nourished as well. But the question is, how often do we feed our souls? Welcome to Soul Food, a podcast about spiritual refinement. My name is Amjad Tarsin, and I invite you to embark with me on this journey inward to work on our souls. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to episode 23 of Soul Food, titled Thankfulness. In this episode, we're going to talk about the blessings of gratitude. We'll talk about being thankful for even small things. And lastly, we'll talk about always witnessing the giver, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're continuing our study of Imam al-Sha'rani's The Divine Lights of the Prophetic Way. And in the past few episodes, we talked about being of service to others and being generous. But in this episode, we're going to focus on being grateful when someone is good to you. And this is one of the essential virtues of the spiritual path, being someone who is grateful and thankful and has a heart that is filled with the lights of gratitude. Interestingly, do you know what is always mentioned in the Quran as the opposite of gratitude? When we see in various verses of the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will juxtapose in various verses of the Quran gratitude against something else. And that is kufr, disbelief. That Allah will often say, if you are grateful, then this is the reward or this is the outcome. But if you have kufr, which generally means disbelief, but why is kufr used as the opposite of gratitude? Because disbelieving in Allah and denying Allah is the ultimate form of being ungrateful. So it's really interesting to know and to see how valuable gratitude is. And that believing in Allah and recognizing that He is your Lord and Creator is a form of gratitude. So we have to build the gratitude muscle, the spiritual muscle of gratitude within ourselves. And the rewards and benefits for gratitude are endless. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And remember when your Lord proclaimed, so this is a divine proclamation, this is a divine decree, if you are grateful, I will certainly give you more. And the emphasis on this is really profound in Arabic. لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. I will definitely, without a doubt, give you more when you're grateful. And then what does Allah say? وَلَئِن كَفَرْتُمْ. But if you are ungrateful, and the word here is kufr, surely my punishment is severe. And in another verse of the Quran, when Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam is expressing his gratitude for the gifts that Allah has given him, he says, هَذَا مِن فَضْلِ رَبِّي لِيَبْلُوَنِي أَأَشْكُرُ أَمْ أَكْفُرُ. Solomon said, this is by the grace of my Lord to test me, to see whether I am grateful, I have shukr, am akfur, or ungrateful. وَمَنْ شَكَرَ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. And whoever is grateful, it is only for their own good. وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ كَرِيمٌ. But whoever is ungrateful, surely my Lord is self-sufficient, most generous. This brings us to the next point of being thankful for small things. A person who is arrogant or narcissistic has a very hard time being grateful to others. And this sense of entitlement is extremely dangerous. It is one of the fatal diseases of the heart. It blinds you from recognizing how appreciative you should be. We don't really deserve anything, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives because He is the most generous. So when we show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we always appreciate the means that He uses to give us those blessings. But oftentimes, and this is a sign of the time in which we live, just one argument or one disagreement, and people are so quick to forget any good that someone showed them. Someone used to do them favors, and then maybe they fell short, or maybe they even wronged them. It's as if that person never did any good for them in their lives. And that's just not right. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. That's not fair, let alone the character of someone who is committed to the highest levels of nearness to Allah and wants to be refined and ennobled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to be above that. You have to overcome that nafsani tendency. And you have to remember the good that people did for you, especially at times when you might have a conflict with them. You say, okay, even though we disagree, this person did so much good for me, and I'm going to still remember that despite the disagreement. But in the time in which we live, there's a cancel culture, and people sometimes cut off their own family members. But this is why purification of the heart is so important. So many of the world's problems could be lessened, if not solved altogether, if we had prophetic character. If we had this beautiful prophetic character of always appreciating the favors that people have showed us. As Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim, may Allah be well pleased with him, whose book we covered in season 8, Miftah al-Sara'ir, the key to inner secrets. He has an amazing story about being grateful for little things. As Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim, he was renowned in his time, and people loved him from all over different parts of the world, and they would send him valuable gifts. And one day, a poor, humble woman, she also loved him and respected him, and she wanted to give him a small gift of food, just a small bit of food as a gift. When she came to his door and the servant answered the door, and she presented this little bit of food as a gift, the servant turned her away and he said, "Don't you know that caravans are bringing gifts from far off places, and they're coming to the doorstep of Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim, and you're bringing just a little bit of food? He doesn't need your gift. He has no need for it." And he turned her away. Luckily, Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim, he overheard the conversation, and he quickly came down to the woman and he welcomed her and said, "Jazakillah kul khair, thank you so much. May Allah reward you immensely. I really appreciate the gift that you've given me." Because at one level, it was a big gift in terms of what she had. She didn't have a lot to give. So it was significant in the sense that she was poor, and she really gave it out of love. And he also wanted to honor her and not break her heart. So then as Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim told his servant, "Whoever does not show gratitude for small things will not show gratitude for great things. Whoever does not thank people has not thanked Allah." And this is really golden advice. This is something that if we ever had, a building and we wanted to etch something into stone, this is one of those quotes that really needs to be etched into stone or written in gold, as they say. This should be a daily reminder for us to be grateful. Whoever does not show gratitude for small things will not show gratitude for great things. If you do not appreciate the blessings that Allah gives you, even if He gives you the greatest blessings, you'll still be unhappy. You still won't appreciate that. That's what Shaykh Abu Bakr bin Salim is teaching us. And then conversely, on the flip side, whoever is grateful for the small things and then puts himself or herself in a position by being grateful to be deserving of great gifts from Allah. And then he says, whoever does not thank people has not thanked Allah. And this is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which brings us to the final point. Always witnessing the giver subhanahu wa ta'ala. In reality, everything you have is from Allah. Everything. And He has those gifts that He gives you, that they reach you in a variety of ways. And you should appreciate and honor the ways that blessings reach you, while always witnessing where it comes from in reality. One way that you could look at it is if someone sends you a gift in the mail, and you have a special service, a postal worker knocks on your door and says, this is a first-class delivery, and I just wanted to hand you your gift and get your signature and ensure that you've received your gift. You appreciate that service provided by the postal worker. They did their job so that you could receive your gift in the mail. They took it from however far away, and there was this entire process in order for that gift to reach you. But when that postal worker gives you the gift, you know that the gift isn't from the postal worker, but that it came from whoever sent it. And the same is true with all of the blessings that Allah gives us. Allah created those blessings for you out of nothingness. He brought it into existence. And then He decreed it specifically for you and not for anyone else. And then He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, subjugated the hearts of His servants so that they would be the means for that blessing to reach you. So being thankful towards people shouldn't contradict your recognition of where the blessing really came from. And this is what we want to develop. This is what we want to accomplish on the spiritual path and in nourishing our souls and really polishing our hearts so that we are able to see with the light of faith, that we have basira, inner sight. So the more that we try to purify our hearts, the more you have prophetic character, the more these realities become unveiled to you. That you see not just the postal worker, you don't just see the superficial means of the world, but that you see beyond that into the unseen realm, and that you see the giver subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything. And that brings us to the call to action. Whenever someone does you a favor, the next time a person does you a favor, no matter how small it is, it could be someone making you a cup of coffee. It could be someone handing you a book from the bookshelf, whatever it is, or even a gift, something larger than that. Take a little bit more time to pray for them. You don't have to do it immediately to their face, but you get that gift from them. They do you that favor, and you say, oh Allah, fulfill their needs, bless them, give them the greatest of your rewards, and recognize the favor that comes from them, because when you pray for them, that is the best form of gratitude to that person, the best way that you can pay them back for the favor that they showed you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us people of thankfulness, that Allah illuminates our hearts with the divine lights of faith, and that Allah allows us to see beyond the superficial material world, to witness the giving that comes from Him and to witness spiritual realities. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you for listening to Soul Food. To subscribe to the show, visit soulfood.fm or search for Soul Food in your favorite podcast player. And while you're there, take a minute to leave us a rating and a review. It helps more people discover the show.